Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm Professor Eric Bronson. And this is Prison Breakdown.
2,
Prison
3,
Breakdown.
break!
Hate to spoil his fun, but we're gonna bust out of here.
2, 3, break!
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
2, 3, break!
I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
2, 3, break!
I'm not leaving this cell. I'll get out my way. The right way.
2, 3, break!
Ahoy, dudes! Welcome back to Prison Breakdown. I am Professor Beck Strah, joined by Dr. Eric Bronson.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Ahoy, dude. And the
How are you?
the producer of produce, producer Brett.
That was bananas.
That's
That's a produce joke for you there.
Oh,
I got it.
dang.
Good stuff. This joke. Let me start out. I gotta ask you both a question that's been on my mind. All right. So, if we had a fantasy football league, but for books, like a fantasy bookball, we'll call it.
Sure.
Would we do a draft of letters or a draft of words?
Oh, boy.
Why not sentences or paragraphs?
Well, I can't draft a whole sentence. Like, there's not going to be an exact paragraph that I think is going to be in a book that's going to be in multiple books.
Fair.
But if I'm drafting the and short articles like this, I think that I think I would do pretty well.
Is there in this fictional scenario, is there a salary cap? Or can we just like hoard all of the big 3-letter words?
Well, I think
That's a
salary
damn
cap-
good question.
Yeah, we could be
that's a
like the
good question.
Yankees or the Dodgers and just get like and the if is was
Yeah.
like,
And just
then-
go. Yeah.
Yeah, just
go
trample
with those.
every other
Yep.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we would have to cap like each one of us gets
You got to limit those.
a certain number of those words.
Yeah, in the words of Michael Richards, those words. I
was worried for a second when you said in the words of Michael Richards.
Well,
because
yeah,
Yeah. Got a little tight in the chest.
he's an articulate man.
yeah. In in the immortal words of Michael Richards.
Michael Richards, we have had enough of your shenanigans apparently because you haven't been in anything for a while. But
No.
hope you're doing okay.
Oh, he's definitely still cashing those Seinfeld checks. Like he's doing fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not
We
only that,
hope
a lot of those Seinfeld folks, even the folks who did cameos on the show or people who had short runs are making guest appearances on a lot of podcasts. So he's starting to pop up. So
Right. Like I'm sure
apparently he's not totally Hollywood poison.
yeah, like Lloyd Braun, I'm sure can just make enough to get by just on like the convention circuit. So
Yeah, that's true. And there's been a distinct uncanceling in Hollywood of many cancelable people. He was at like the like earliest edge of the idea of cancellation,
Yeah.
right?
and like, credit to the man. Like at least he didn't go and do like the immediate right-wing grift like the majority of these celebrities do when they're caught doing something completely untoward.
Yeah. I was just reading the other day, Jonathan Majors, after being found guilty of assaulting his girlfriend years ago, he's now going to star in some action movie for the Daily Wire.
Yep, correct.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, apparently
What?
they're calling it. This movie is supposed to be the unwoke sinners, is what they've said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to see what goes into that. That's it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Well, let's. I was going to say we try and figure out who's going to make some appearances on there.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Oh yeah, they've got a stable full of
canceled.
John Voight, James Woods, the guy who played Chachi.
Right there, you go.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Breuer. There are many unfunny comedians and questionably talented actors who they can pick from. The Right's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you I bumped into Jim Breuer in the Newark airport, the international terminal at course, imagine this. I'm going somewhere and I'm hungry. Shocker, right?
Bronson
so
hungry.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm going through and I'm looking for, one of those pre-made chicken Caesar wrap things, that piece of crap that they sell you for $13 at an airport.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And who's standing there right next to me doing the exact same thing as Jim Breuer? Wow.
You should have leaned over to him and said, I'm as hungry as a goat boy.
No. I said, oh, wow, this is how Hollywood eats? I'm doing pretty well. And just walked off.
The
Hollywood. Hollywood is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Like maybe outer Los Angeles, but come on.
Took some liberties there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I don't think he's been in a Hollywood film since Half Baked, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Right.
Yeah. Can you agree the chicken Caesar wrap is like the default food item of an airport terminal?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Like the Starbucks chicken Caesar wrap is like, I feel like that's all anyone sells around there, even if it's not a Starbucks. You just walk into like a Dunkin's in the airport and they just have a Starbucks chicken Caesar wrap.
I just wish you could get them made fresh because, when they're not and that Caesar dressing's been on that lettuce and it's just, if it's been there for too long, it's awful. But if it's fresh, it's phenomenal.
Let me tell you both. I just traveled with my infant son of the pod, Kairos, for the first time on a plane this last week. And it has thrown I used to have like a very good airplane plan. Like when you are sitting there, like you buy lunch somewhere you actually want to eat in advance. So I stopped by our local sushi spot and get some vegetarian sushi. So it's going to keep okay for the plane or like a New Jersey Michael's sub, something like that. And I don't have to think about, it's shitty airport food. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And then you travel with an infant. I've loaded my iPad with every show and movie I could conceivably ever want to watch. and guess how many of those I did watch?
Yeah, that went right out that escape hatch.
Yeah. I just opened the door mid-flight, I flung that into the wind because it didn't matter anymore.
Yep.
It sounds like all your plans had an exit row.
It was humbling to say the least. So I need to rethink my whole travel strategy. But if you have the time and resources out there, I highly recommend whoever's listening, anticipate the flight ahead and try to make it as comfortable for yourself as possible. It makes flying a lot less painful and a lot less. There's less of the travel anxiety leading up to it if you have a decent plan in place and you are taking steps to make yourself comfortable.
Yeah. No, when you have kids, it's all about their comfort. Forget about yours.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the kids, their comfort. That's what matters.
In a revealing statement, wife of the pod, Dr. Ellie, she said, well, I feel like you packed just like you did before he was born, and I had to fill my bag full of his stuff. So I'm recognizing that I can't do this anymore. I've got my Nintendo Switch 2 and my iPad and a couple of books, and she's got a diaper bag with a book or two and a Kindle. So I do have to change some habits. I realize I'll get there.
Cool. Well, would you like to get into the meat of the podcast for the day?
I call it a main event.
I don't have any songs for that. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
We discussed this.
What? I think Beck's going to sing us a song about a main event.
It's the main event.
All right, that's acceptable. That's acceptable.
Was that good enough for the pod?
That was great. That was perfect. Well done.
Definitely. Well, get us into the main event there, Professor Strah.
Eric, shut up. There's one thing I have to do first.
What's that?
I would like to thank our sponsor of this podcast.
Would that happen to be the Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies?
That's the one, Eric.
School of Justice Studies.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
School of Justice Studies.
Yeah. High and low.
Yeah, you're like that guy in the coasters who just
definitely.
does all the like the really low voices, like Charlie Brown, he come to town. Why is everybody always picking on me? That guy.
I love that part of the song. Yeah, that's a good song. So Roger Williams University
Let's hear
School of
about that
Justice
Roger
Studies.
Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
kind of programs might they have on?
Oh, they
on
got
offer?
so many
Folks
programs
just said
on
the
offer.
exact same thing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, let me start it out here. We've got degrees in public administration. How about one in cloud computing? What does legal studies sound like to you? That sounds pretty sweet, huh? Study
like a
legal
delicious
stuff
dish.
without going to law school sounds
Sounds
ideal.
delicious.
We got one in forensic science. How about one in cybersecurity and networking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very useful.
We got digital forensics. We got a degree in cyber specialism. We got one in public management. And of course, we got the big boys over at the School of Criminal Justice. How about that?
Yo, that's us.
That's you fellas. And of course, the number one, always the leader of the pack.
It's not fair that it leads the pack just because its name is leadership.
It is fair, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Now it's time for the main event. So, Eric, you were gone last time. You had died and you
I was.
have been resurrected.
Full zombie mode.
Now, Zombie Bronson. I know Eric Bronson's probably heard of this, but has Zombie Bronson heard of the prison ships that were used in New York City?
Oh yeah, definitely. Those are awful.
Yeah. Nobody seems to have liked these. They're an interesting idea that lasted until very recent history. So,
Well, you know who likes them?
is it Roger Williams
we
University
don't
School of
like
Justice
them.
Studies? Okay. No, okay.
No.
Okay, good.
No, definitely not. No, we don't
unpopular.
like them. The inmates don't like them. The staff members who work there don't like them. But politicians love that shit because here's some way to incarcerate somebody and be horrible to them for cheaper amount of money. At least it seems like they would be cheaper than to build a brand new institution. Just
Also,
reconfigure, an old barge.
With a place like New York City, where real estate prices are astronomical, this doesn't actually take over a city block like a prison or a jail might too. Instead, you're getting open river that is otherwise unpopulated.
Right.
And I don't think the fish push back like you would think they do. So today,
Well, in that river they might. That's some nasty ass water.
that is yeah. That's a tough ass fish. That's like a fish that comes out with boxing gloves on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm swimming here.
So we know that New York City actually used prison ships to hold inmates from 1987 until just 2023, just 3 short years ago. And our story today starts in the 1960s when New York City's Commissioner of Corrections thought we should house inmates on repurposed boats. Local officials, they disagreed. They were like, hey, this is stupid and it's an eyesore. People don't want to be looking out at the river and seeing boats that are holding inmates. And we know that historically, prison ships were considered hellholes, and we would be doing a disservice to visitors of our country, the tourism elements of New York City, if they came to visit and they saw prison ships tied up in the harbors. So it was actually pushed back against. But the problem is, wouldn't it be nice if we still cared about what other countries thought about how we treat people? We don't get as much of that anymore.
Sure as hell would. No.
So people thought it was stupid in the 60s, but this perception actually shifted in the 80s and 90s when crack hit. Because what's going to happen to our prison populations and our jail populations at that time?
Pure explosion.
Yes, pure explosion, pure upward movement.
Yeah.
So in the year 1986, Mayor Ed Koch, he turned 2 former Staten Island ferries into prison ships. And the ferries turned into prisons, opened in March 1987. The jail population, meanwhile, went from 15,000 people to 19,000 inmates from 1988 to 1989. So 4,000 more beds needed in a span of a year. And they're scrambling. They're just looking for jail space when there's no real room for expansion in the city. New York City is on an island. It's not huge, and they only have limited space. So this not great solution gets used. And New York City officials,
as Kevin Costner said, I believe it was Kevin Costner. No, the ghost said to Kevin Costner, "If you build it, they will come." Right? So let's build some prisons on the water and the inmates will flow to it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the ghost of Shoeless Joe Jackson being like, you got to build a prison. You gotta... It's like, wait, didn't you play baseball? Yeah, but like the crime's getting out of control.
Build a prison.
Yeah. My voice is multi-purpose. It can be used for many things.
Lock up the crackheads.
New York City officials are like, yeah, it's not a great solution, but we can buy and put together a floating prison easier than we can on land because of this like extensive permitting process. Anything in New York City needs extensive permits, and it's just not as expensive if it's on the water. It did have some stupid extra costs, like the Coast Guard requires that a licensed mate and an engineer are on staff at all times, even though the ferries, these ferries that they turned into prisons, they're permanently docked right outside Rikers Island.
Right.
They're like, sorry, Coast Guard says you have to have these extra staff on hand at all times.
Honestly, is there a cooler job than like first mate on a ship that never moves?
No, honestly, it'd be the easiest job.
Yeah, you just go into work, like hang out on Reddit for 8 hours and leave. Like,
oh yeah. But think about like the pre-Reddit days. What are you supposed to do? Read a book?
Oh yeah, right. Woof.
So they were floating jails. The ferries turned into these floating prison ships. They were floating jails, each with 162 beds that were used to hold inmates who were awaiting trial. And at its peak, New York City actually had 5 jail ships, which is insane to think about. So 2 were the converted ferries. 2 were converted troop ships that were used to transport British soldiers to the Falklands. And the 5th was a custom effort I'll touch on in a minute. And of the 2 troop ships that they used, we had the Bibby Venture, which is the first one, called the Love Boat, and the Bibby Resolution, its sister ship.
Was it called the Love Boat because they transported Prince Andrew to the Falkland Islands on that?
No. Because
that's where he lost his ability to sweat, if you remember.
Yeah. I'm not touching that. No more Prince Andrew joke. You can't say that.
Prince Andrew might be touching that, if you know what I mean.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, somebody was touching it.
No.
That's how you get on that list.
Every word is being used against me. So one of these ships, the Bibby Venture, otherwise known as the Love Boat, it was initially criticized. Critics said it's not very cost effective for the amount of space you get. And the New York City Director of Compliance, Kenneth Schoen, said, quite simply, it is a labyrinth of spaces that is largely unsupervisable by either sight or sound, which is exactly what I want for any jail. It was like long corridors and like steep staircases, like you have in any ferry. If you go on any ferry, period, you think about, would this be acceptable to turn into a prison? The answer is probably no.
No, and it's not like if you think about the layout of a ferry, and just talking about the steep staircases, those things are not set up to move quickly for the staff if there's an all call that goes out or anything like that. It's not easy to maneuver around them if something goes out and there's some issues. So there's a lot that go wrong here.
Totally. In working in a jail, your radio would go off sometimes and it would say like, fight in Frank 4, which was a unit that we had in the jail. And you get up from whatever you're doing, unless you're working in a unit, and you run to the aid of the officer who is in Frank 4. Now, you doing that in a cramped, labyrinthine ship with extremely steep staircases it's not an easy task for anyone. So it's not designed for this. And another person agrees. It would be Robert Kasanoff, chairman of the Board of Corrections, the city's jail oversight agency. He said, I think this barge is designed for disciplined British soldiers. It's not made for detainees who are awaiting trial for the crimes. And he commented that the narrow corridors and individual rooms can obstruct the guards' views and that it requires insane staffing levels to be as secure as an actual jail. Because this place, it's all low ceilings. It's narrow corridors. It's catwalk stairs. The lingering smell of diesel fuel. It sucks. There's no indoor gym. There's no real place for recreation. If I was housed on this prison ship and I got a visitor, they pull me out of the ship. They put me on a bus to the Brooklyn House of Detention. I meet my visitor, and then I go through the process just to get back. Nothing is easy.
That doesn't seem efficient at all.
That must be like I was gonna say that must be like a 5-hour day to see a visitor for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous, and it's just adding so many steps.
Because they're getting shackled to get into the bus. The bus ride over is not quick through the city. Taking you off, I'm sure they search everybody and make sure everything's copacetic with security, and then they take them in the room. Then you meet for however long, and you got to do the exact same crap going back, and none of that is quick. Everything takes forever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you got to figure it's probably actually more efficient for the visitors, since at this point, most of the inmates like arrested in like New York City are transported upstate, and so like you have to take a 3-hour prison bus each way just to go like visit someone. So I don't know. It's probably not so great for the prisoners, but it's probably more efficient for the visitors. So there's that, I guess.
I'm going to propose something that could never be implemented because these are out of commission. What if unlimited visitors, but your visitors have to swim to the boat?
I like this. I like
Nice.
this idea. Yeah.
Like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's got to be part of the Maha movement, right? We're making America healthy again by getting them to swim in the river.
Yeah, but you have to swim in your jeans.
Right. And the Hudson River is a beautiful, clean river that, is great for swimming in. So
as it's known to be.
Yes.
I love that. You gotta swim in your jeans. I love that.
Just get pulled up onto the boat and you're just covered in like toilet paper and raw sewage.
Your
jeans down.
And in your jeans.
Now, at this facility, they were very strict on classification. They said no homosexuals allowed. And anyone who needs psychological or medical attention, not allowed.
What?
Right? They said, we're not taking them on. There were 90 inmates in the dorms. The rest of them slept in cabins. And 162 beds total. And there's a special name that they give to cells at sea. They just called them cabins. It sounds more fun, like you're on a cruise.
You kind of are.
In a way.
Yeah.
Is a cruise kind of a prison?
Kind of. I mean, you're trapped on a boat. They do have a brig.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's true.
Definitely. And you have very, very few rights when you're on a cruise.
Very true.
Yeah.
You have the right to have fun. I think that's a
Right,
God-given right. Carnival instituted, right?
This is yeah.
One odd feature of this prison boat, though, is inmates had to be escorted anywhere and everywhere on the boat for liability reasons. And you can't let someone trip and fall because there's a sway of the boat. So there was like this 1-to-1 CO to inmate ratio, which is unheard of.
That's
and
absurd.
seemingly not at all cost effective, especially when dealing with low to medium security risks like we have here.
Well, wait, these were low to medium security prisons and their boats?
Yeah.
What? I thought these were like Supermax. That would make some sense. Because you're like, we got to take all the most dangerous people and put them on a boat. But you're taking like a guy who did like check fraud. And you're like, yeah, the only way you can make it back to land is swimming through the Hudson. And it's just like, cruel and unusual in itself, but like wild.
Right.
The whole thing is very goofy. And other critiques noted that inmates could make weapons from the plastic fixtures that were throughout the facility. They could hide contraband in the ceilings. And there were some dangers like exposed smoke detector wires and handheld shower heads that were too delicate for jail use. But didn't impress anybody either. Now, so that was the Bibby Venture, the first one, the Love Boat. The second one was called the Bibby Resolution, and it had a profile in the New York Sunday Daily News in 1989. And in this profile, it mentions, okay, this floating jail has a pharmacy that has lots of Dramamine because apparently getting seasick is part of being in jail now. They had air-conditioned cells with double bunks, a large window, and a bathroom compartment with a shower, commode, and sink. This is like a cruise. That's very cruise-like.
Imagine that is some high society living right there.
Imagine being like a notable New York City personality and your like profile in the Times like gets replaced with a profile for a boat. Like how defeating would that be?
It would feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
There's some author out there who's like disenchanted because his book didn't sell well because it was not highlighted.
He's just got a vendetta against boats now.
He's been sinking boats.
It's probably the guy who like wrote The Perfect Storm.
It's just fan fiction. It's
like, fuck these boats.
So inmates in the second boat actually had access to a gym, a weight room, a law library, and a medical clinic. So it's outfitted a little better. And there are also 2 large and unused swimming pools, which more than anything seems like a stupid risk to have if you are having a prison. If somebody falls, they're going to break their leg or ankle or foot or something.
Right.
In a 2002 book about the New York City waterfront by urban planner Raymond Gastile, he states the barges were stacked with cells of human cargo, like a freighter loaded with containers. And he called it both an eyesore and a fascinating curiosity.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but wait, the British soldier ships had pools on them?
I was curious about this myself.
Wait, why? They were being sent to war. Like what?
Yeah. Are war and leisure entirely incompatible?
I'd say yes.
Yeah,
I'd say yes.
Maybe they come back and that's how they relax. I mean, for a little swim, quick dip.
Unless you work for like
go back to war.
Unless you work for Lockheed Martin or Raytheon, I'd say yes. I'd say they're separate things.
So the most interesting prison ship of all was the one that was most recently closed in 2023. This place was called the Vernon C. Bain Correctional Center, or VCBC, nicknamed simply the Boat.
Oh, I wish it was called the Vern. So, you could have like Ernest P. Worrell. You know what I mean, Vern? And then it's
Hey, Vern.
Hey, Vern. Yeah.
But
But there's also a play on the last name there, Bane. I mean, the ship was, it's a huge one. Bane.
Gotham is in for a reckoning. One of those.
I was born in the dark.
You know they will expect to find one prisoner.
This was a 5-story jail on the East River in New York City. I'm done. it was set near the South Bronx. And so this whole facility, it sits right across from Rikers Island between a fish market and a wastewater treatment plant to give inmates the worst possible smell in history.
I don't know why that's funny, but that's so cruel and evil.
I've been on the other side of the water from that. I've been on the other side of the water in that, so I could take a look. Yeah, I could peek across the water and see it. Because it was there for 30 some odd years, right? And so years ago, I went because I just wanted to take a look to see, because you hear about this massive floating prison. Now, the smell was just so repugnant. It was so overwhelming. Now, granted, I had the wind coming at me that day, but still, those inmates and the people working there, because they're doing time 8 hours, in 8-hour shifts, they're smelling that too. It was so overwhelmingly awful.
Yeah, that's like building a Supermax in a dog food factory.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It's like Eric was telling us before the pod that
his dog food factory where they're cutting up the horses.
Yeah. Before the pod, Eric was telling us about how his dog got sprayed by a skunk, and this dog, it's hard to let him around the house at the moment because he's stinky. It's like that, but all the time.
All the time.
That seems,
all the time.
That seems both cruel and unusual. Let's be honest.
That's very unusual.
That is,
it's almost like banal. It's how like shitty it is.
It's capricious. Like it's just not nice, not fair, not even. Come on.
Yeah, it would be funny if it was directed at I don't know, somebody like that really deserved scorn, like an individual, but
like Prince Andrew, like Prince Andrew.
Put it like Prince Andrew. Yeah. There you go. Put him in a smelly jail. I don't care. But for like all these inmates and COs, because again, you have to have this insanely high CO to inmate ratio. Like, why are you this mean? Anyway, this Vernon C. Bain facility, the boat, it was an overflow that was started in 1992 when Rikers Island was overcrowded with inmates and they needed a release valve. And unfortunately for the administrators who put this stupid idea together, the boat was 18 months late on delivery. It was $36 million over budget, weighing in at more than $160 million. It was a custom prison boat this time. And oof.
So no pools, or did they have the pools again?
I don't remember. I wrote this a couple weeks ago, and I will. I'll see if I get down to that. I like to think that they had a recreational pool in this one.
Sure.
But a corrections commissioner said this $36 million overage could be explained as the city had never designed this kind of passenger vessel before. And the boat had to be towed from New Orleans, where it was built, to New York City, which is 1,800 miles. So everything about it was just like this perfect storm of everything that could go wrong during construction, if you will. This also happened in 1992 at a time. What's happening to the crack epidemic at this time?
The CIA is destroying inner city everywhere with crack.
Well, yes, but in 1992 specifically.
82. It's just exploding.
The CIA is taking their foot off the pedal a little bit. The crack epidemic is letting up.
It's taken over the inner city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So crack epidemic is letting up. They don't need the bed spaces badly anymore. And the jail population had been around 20,000 people. And just as this boat gets to New York City, the prison population is actually starting to go down, and the jail population going down. So some prison officials admitted that building this stupid boat was actually a mistake. And have either of you seen the film Carlito's Way, a 1993 film?
Yeah, with was Johnny Depp and Al Pacino, is that right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? No, I'm thinking of Donnie Brasco. Sorry. Who's in Carlito's Way?
I want to say Al Pacino and someone else.
No, I have not seen that.
It's a De Palma film.
It is, let's see, Pacino.
Al Pacino,
Sean Penn, and Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman.
And John
Viggo
Leguizamo.
Mortensen. Johnny Legs. So you can actually see some footage of what the Bane looked like in this 1993 film, Carlito's Way, which features some scenes in and around the boat. And since other states in the U.S. were experiencing overcrowding caused by the crack epidemic, we saw a handful of resolutions put out by other states for building boats used for incarceration, but none of them ever took off. For some reason, New York City is the only place that ever really seriously implemented these boats in recent history.
Could it possibly because it's completely inefficient, cruel, and stupid?
Well, when you put it that way, yes. They may have looked at New York City's failures on this and thought, maybe we shouldn't, you guys. Let's scrap this plan entirely. So with the advent of the boat arriving in New York City, the 2 ferries that had been converted into floating jails were sold off to a California shipbroking company in 1994. And New York City made a stellar bargain of, they made less than 4 cents on the dollar for those 2 ferries turned into prisons. And the 2 troop ships were actually used for a little while longer.
Isn't there a trend of like some of these Hollywood folks, some of the rich folks buying like these broke down ferries and reconditioning them to turn them into like nightclubs or places you can rent out that kind of have the same thing where they, it's on the dock and it goes out for a little bit, but then for the most part for the night it's docked and they can have a party, whatever, and on a boat that's owned by I don't know who's one of them that has one,
like a riverboat casino type of idea.
There's a few folks that, yeah, but it's, hey, come party on Justin Timberlake's ferry or some crap like that.
Here's an answer for you. So apparently, comedians Pete Davidson and Colin Jost, both from SNL, recently teamed with a comedy club owner, Paul Italia, to buy a Staten Ferry boat, the John F. Kennedy, and they plan on making it into like a restaurant space, entertainment venue, and hotel.
There we go.
Pass.
It's one of them. There's a great example.
Wild.
Yeah, I suppose it will attract some visitors, especially owned by famous people. I don't know if this is for me. It all seems very, I don't know, frivolous.
Yeah, this seems dumb. This seems like one of those things you go to if you live in New York and just have too much money.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So New York City got less than 4 cents on the dollar for selling off those ferry boats. And the 2 troop ships get used for a little while longer. And they are eventually sold in 2003 and 2004 to a scrap company. And they end up as scrap. But the Vernon C. Bain, persisted for a long time. The ship was massive. They could hold 800 people. They had 700 beds and an extra 100 cells on top of that. There was a medical clinic, a law library, a chapel, and a mess hall. And the Vernon C. Bain was 625 feet long. That is longer than 2 football fields and 125 feet wide. So think of a 47-ton cargo barge, and that's what we're working with here.
It's absolutely massive. That's the funny thing. Unless you can see it in person, even us, you talking about 2 football fields, it is just absolute. It looks like one of the skyscrapers down there has fallen over and is just floating in the river. It's so damn big.
That is a ridiculous idea, having a skyscraper that holds people like that. But yeah, essentially that.
Yeah.
It was too bad I did not get the chance to see it when it was around, but you know what? It's too late now. We can all watch Carlito's Way to figure this out. Now, the Bain Correctional Center. Do you think it was known for having good conditions?
No.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people called it the bane of their existence.
I hope people did that. It was known for gross moldy conditions, rodents everywhere, and lousy medical care. And in 2019, it cost the city $24 million annually to operate. They had 317 workers just to operate this barge. And they had some inmate issues as well. In 2022, they had a 44-year-old man jump off the top of the ship to his death. And they had a 24-year-old man die of a treatable form of meningitis, which was a rodent-transmitted viral form while in custody. So he got meningitis from a rat.
Oh, that's a brand new nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't know you had this nightmare.
Oh, no. I'm going to get meningitis from a boat rat. No, thank you.
Other notable issues include COs throwing a Koran on the floor, one guy putting the inmate who owned the Koran into a body hold, and the other spraying him in the face with OC spray. So that's a real issue that required some complaints. Mm-hmm. The ship also had many issues, like inmates getting injured, the medical system on the ship being totally insufficient. They were not fully equipped and prepared for inmate medical needs, nor did they show the type of attention that you would want if you got injured. Mm-hmm. The ship is cold throughout the year. New York City, it's known for being a chilly place. You got to deal with that if you're on a boat. Sucks. And inmates had to live in tight quarters and deal with seasickness. I can't imagine dealing with seasickness on there, like especially if you were a person who has like chronic seasickness.
Mm-hmm. Once again, seems cruel and unusual.
Oh, but let me tell you something about the light that they get. They only get natural light through small portholes, and they were allowed only an hour of recreation on the upper deck each day on a caged-in area. Former inmates say it was rusty inside, and the dorms were insanely hot in the summer, with the beds only a few inches apart. It was also known for having a leaky exterior, which led to electrical issues and pooling water when it rained.
That's what I was thinking in terms of the winter. You can warm a ship up. That's not all that bad. There's things they can, but cooling it off and then dealing with storms. Mm-hmm. When that thing gets hot and when the water gets, there's plenty of times when that water is getting moving because of winds or severe storms. I cannot imagine how the folks on board deal with that. It has to be simply an awful place when it was running.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like you have to worry about your person more than a regular jail, just because it has the possibility of capsizing. It would be hard, but it could potentially capsize. You have to worry about seasickness. You have to worry about elements and stuff like rats might be in prisons and jails, but they might be more common in like boats as well. So there's just this extra element of everything sea related you have to deal with. So after being decommissioned in 2023, the boat was towed away and scrapped just last year in 2025. And it was sold to a Louisiana scrap company and towed south for recycling in November 2025. Notably, on closing, the Bain held over 500,000 inmates in its lifespan from 1992 to 2023, making it one of the busiest penal institutions in history, that's a fun fact for you.
That is. It really is.
Yeah, but to think that this was one of the busiest prisons or jails ever, and it was a boat. That's a crazy idea.
Yeah.
Now that's all the fun I've got on prison ships.
Oh boy.
I think we move on to a favorite segment of ours, a fan favorite.
Indeed. Is it time for a movie minute?
Movie minute. 60 seconds with producer Britt to talk about movies.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. So last time, Judge Strah here sentenced me to watch Song Sung Blue from 2025. Song Sung Blue from 2025 is a film written and directed by Craig Breuer, best known as the director and writer of Hustle and Flow, Dolomite Is My Name, and the remake of Footloose.
Okay.
So, lots of credentials for a musical here. The film is based on a 2008 documentary of the same name, which is in turn based on a Neil Diamond song of the same name.
Yes.
Song Sung Blue follows Mike and Claire Sardina, played respectively by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, is down on their luck musicians who form Lightning and Thunder, a Neil Diamond tribute act. Producer's note. As is on record in numerous places, including this podcast, and at this point might as well be part of my personality and worldview, I am not a fan of Neil Diamond's music. I am the opposite of a fan. I am a hater. I have nothing against the guy, but I hate Neil Diamond's music more than essentially any other artist alive or dead. It's something visceral that I cannot explain in musical terms. I just hate the lyrics. I hate his sound. I hate his sequin jacket, enormous open collared shirt with too many buttons down and a hairy chest aesthetic. End of producer's note.
Wait, how do you feel about ba 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 as a line? Ba ba ba.
Well, the only thing I can say about it is, and that's how I feel. So right. You'll understand when I say this movie has a truly dog shit soundtrack. The musical performances are actually pretty good and like serviceable for the music, but I cannot stand the music. Inasmuch this movie felt like an endurance test, or like perhaps I was being studied. The movie also focuses on Mike's alcoholism and Claire's car accident, which were some of the better parts of the film. The worst parts of the film were the music, which easily took up more than half of the 2 hour and 12-minute runtime. At one point in the movie, some guy in a bar yells, "Neil Diamond sucks!" And the crowd agrees. That was my favorite moment in the film. This film was probably really great for Neil Diamond fans, but not for me. 2 out of 5 soups.
You can give it 2?
That was generous. That was generous. Just because like the performances were good, I recognize that everyone in the movie knew what they were doing. Don't do. No, stop, no.
Bop, bop, bop. But you gave it 2 soups.
The performances were good. Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson, phenomenal. Hated it.
That's an interesting pairing, Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson.
Yeah, they were great together though. Like, and
really?
like their song performances, like they harmonized really well together. Like, no, they were doing it. They were doing the thing.
What's your least favorite Neil Diamond song on the movie?
I mean, it's got to be Sweet Caroline. I mean, Cherry Baby also like makes my blood boil for some reason. But it's got to be one of those two, I think.
Nice.
I think I like his aesthetic more than I previously thought I did after your breakdown of it.
Oh, no. Just no.
You dislike him makes me like him, and I'm not saying that to be contrarian.
No, it sounds like you are.
It comes naturally.
Yep.
So we know what Strah is going to have on his playlist tonight.
So what do you have to sentence to me to? If you sentence me to watch The Jazz Singer starring Neil Diamond, this podcast is over.
Bronson, do you have anything up your sleeve?
Coming to America?
Wait, which one? Coming number 2 America or coming T.O. America? Because
wait, isn't that
and actually, interestingly enough, Coming to America, the sequel, was directed by Craig Breuer, director of this film.
Oh,
doesn't Neil Diamond have Coming to America?
Wait, no, that's James Brown. The song. Or that's Living in America.
America. It's just America.
Oh, it's just America. Okay.
Yeah, but what was the hell was the name of that movie that it came from?
No, I'm not watching another Neil Diamond film. That's not a bit that you get to do.
Starting next week, new podcast. Brit on Neil Diamond.
Yeah, let's just listen to Brit. How much Brit hates Neil Diamond by making him watch Neil Diamond stuff.
Next week, new podcast. A diamond in the rough.
What the hell was it? The jazz singer?
No, I'm not. I told you. I just said I'm not watching that.
All right. Eric, do you have something less punishing for producer?
At least, if you're gonna make me do this, at least space them out. All right. Don't give me 2 weeks worth of Neil Diamond. All right.
No.
My mood stabilizers don't work that well. All right.
I just love it the way you have to squirm. Anyways, no. I actually did not prepare a sentence for producer Britt, so I would have to. We'd have to delay sentencing here till the next.
Judge Strah has a list.
You have one.
He has a list.
Judge Strah.
I got one up my sleeve. Yeah, this one's topical. The movie is the 1993 film Carlito's Way. Brian De Palma.
Okay.
I want you to watch this and tell us about the Bane. Tell us about what you see.
All right, I'll report back. That's
this
thank
actually
you.
looks like a cool movie.
Thank you for your leniency, I guess, in sentencing. Like, I hope I had some mitigating factors, like like if you sentence me to another Neil Diamond film, I would jump out the window.
The mitigating factor. Yeah.
Well, nice.
Well, that's another successful movie minute. Extra successful this time. Bronson, thank you for piping in some delicious tunes by our man Neil Diamond, who we both enjoy.
Well, if you like this podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
Do it.
Nice.
We would appreciate that.
And one more big shout out to our lovely sponsor, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies, for all of your justice studies educational wants and needs.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. With that, Eric, what do you say at the end of the night? You're talking to your wife. You want to darken the room. What would you say to her?
I've already been asleep for about 3 hours before she shows up. Lights out!